Watch this.
The turnout in those elections is typically pretty low, 25 to 30%.
There's a reason they call these off-year elections, because voter turnout is just off. But could this be the odd year out, thanks to the younger crowd helping turn that trend around?
I'd love to see my grandkids. I'd love to see my great-grandkids go to school out here. And so for that to happen, I have to do my part.
And so do a majority of the other 17 voters. We're taking you all the way out to one of Idaho's smallest school districts, where running a levy seems to go hand in hand with running cattle. SNAP benefits being halfway restored is only half the problem. Local food banks say they're busier than ever and in need of help. Thank goodness there's an app for that. Well, tomorrow is Election Day, and while odd-numbered years don't get the attention of the even-numbered years, presidential, midterm, those kind of elections, because the current administration notwithstanding, local elections, though, those would be like the mayors, city councils, school boards, they do have a greater impact on our daily lives than the federal elections. However, they don't seem to have the greatest impact on voter turnout. Think about it. We pack the polls for presidents, but when it comes to how much we want to pay for property taxes, well, the place looks more like a downtown Boise parking garage on an early Sunday morning. And for the younger generation of voters, it's historically been even more sparse. Hunter Funk looked into Idaho's turnout data and looks at how they are trying to get more young Idahoans to the polls. Hunter?
Yeah, Brian, if you look at voteidaho.gov, you can see it right here. Among the more than 1 million registered voters for this election, all you have to do is scroll down and see the age. Tap it there. You'll see 15% are 18 to 29 years old. And the counties are where they're showing up. The only places where you're seeing them show up more is over in Latah County. Once I can get this unclicked, there we go. Latah County, one of those areas. You're also going to see Madison County. But for all the other locations, I mean, you're talking about communities made up of 60 to 74-year-olds. Registered voter turnout tends to skew older, but why does it matter if fewer young people vote in these smaller races? Well, as the Idaho Young Democrat and Idaho Young Republican group say, in these local seats, your vote doesn't get lost in the noise.
School board races, those water irrigation districts, CWI trustee races have been close in the past. And so there are close races, and a lot of these local races are determined by a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand votes, depending on what level. And so your vote really does make a difference. If you choose not to come out, sometimes folks will win or lose by less than 10 votes.
If you want your voice to be heard, especially with local races, because we know so much of the local races, it's low turnout. Sometimes people feel like it's low stakes, but it's very much high stakes for who's going to be mayor, city council, school board. We've seen all the kind of the news that Idaho tends to generate, especially whether it's the school board races in West Ada and others. It all starts local, and making sure that more voices are there.
No matter the party, both Idaho's Young Democrats and Republicans agree. Change starts at the local level. But why do younger voters tend to sit them out?
Because it's really tough with these local nonpartisan races. One, to even know what's available on the ballot, and then two, who's running, what are their beliefs, do they have websites, what are they about?
Which is why Idaho's youngest political groups work so hard during this time of the year.
We found that text messages and social media and those types of things are really the best way. And we've been encouraging folks to get out and vote. And we've also gotten Young Republicans, which is our group, and other young voters to get out and door knock and canvass for candidates that they support in their community. And so we're hopeful that all of those efforts will actually yield good results and higher turnout.
The Idaho Young Democrats also doing the same. And both groups agree, whether you lean right or left, this generation has a stake in the outcome.
We have the most to gain by voting. We're going to be spending hopefully many years in the area, invest in our communities. So we just have to get out there.
Whether you're at Boise State or University of Idaho or ISU, or you're a young professional and you've got kids and families, like I get it. It's a lot, but these policies do have an impact in your community and on your day-to-day life. And so get out and vote.
Okay, if you hop online, the next generation is usually talking about home costs, getting jobs, among many other things, which is why these small elections can be a much bigger situation.
Especially when you look at the news that came out over the weekend, or maybe it was late last week, about the debt-to-income ratio in Idaho is the worst in the country, like 2 to 1.
Wasn't Idaho? Yeah, Idaho was top.
Yeah, worst in the country at 2 to 1. And so I guess that focus is, okay, especially for these college kids, which is where you kind of showed where these pockets were, you would think that, yes, the future and my income and what I have to pay out of pocket, that would be a huge consideration.
Yeah, it would make me want to jump to the polls. And also, yeah, Latah County, University of Idaho, that's why it's so heavy there.
Yeah.
Other counties don't have that big of a college presence, so you have an older population.
We'll see if it makes a difference this go around. Historically, it really hasn't. So we'll see. All right, thanks, Hunter. As we established, local elections are important because it's how we determine what's important to us. The direction of the school board or the city council, what we're willing to fund when it comes to public safety, infrastructure, or schools. This election cycle, across the state of Idaho, voters are being asked to consider more than $159 million in some sort of school-related bond or levy to subsidize what is or what isn't coming out of the State House. From a 20-year, $26 million bond in Gooding to the $67,000 supplemental levy in the Three Creek School District. Never heard of the Three Creek School District? Well, neither had we, until we went there and found it in the shadow of Nevada's Jarbidge Mountains. What else we found? Well, they have just 72 people living within their district. That's like 20 times the number of cows to people in that area. And we also learned it isn't about persuading people to increase their property taxes when it comes to levies, but about increasing the chances they can continue living as cattle ranchers. The first thing you notice about Three Creek is what it takes to get there. About an hour, 15-minute drive southwest of Twin Falls, most of it along an unmarked 2-lane road, you'll find
All right, Three Creek Mustangs,
Three Creek Elementary School.
we're gonna get started.
A 3-room building among a 4-building compound, and the only such grouping for miles.
Let's start at the top.
It's a drive Shannon Alt
What input and
made
output
many
countries
times
would
visiting her
add?
dad in Nevada.
Oh yes, hundreds of times probably.
She knew what it was. The why it was here, well, that was more elusive.
I wondered why it was still open. I couldn't figure out, like, where are they finding the kids?
The output columns.
That answer she found for herself when the last teacher retired 5 years ago
So it's half 84.
and Shannon took the Three Creek teaching job.
Half.
It was up to her to recruit them.
Oh, how did you figure out 39?
She quickly found 3.
And then word spread and people moved in and kids got a little older and now we're up to 5.
Moment.
So why would a teacher with 22 years experience in a Twin Falls school of 400 students
Did we multiply by 3?
suddenly want to be out here, the lone teacher in a school of 5?
I thought this would be a challenge. I thought it would be a big challenge, and it is. And I love it. I love a challenge.
But that's not the only reason.
It's a cross between teaching and kind of mothering, to be honest with you. That's the one.
Some of that mom stuff,
Are you
well,
guys ready?
that's marked on the walls. That makes it kind of feel like family.
It is family. I used to write it on the doors. We ran out of room.
What does this say?
The job comes with a teacher's aide,
Do they grow thick hair?
a salary, and a place for Shannon to live just steps away from the school. It's quite a different commute than her students, a couple of whom cross state lines to get here.
It's 40 miles every day for her parents. But they put the effort in and they're here every day on time. It's amazing. Write an algebraic expression.
That brings us back to the question of why.
This is the only school. And when you're driving your child 20 miles just to school every day, you can see the importance of keeping this open, as we just don't have any other options.
Oh, there are other options, like relocating, but that would be devastating to the only industry in Three Creek. Cattle. Do you go on vacation?
I do, yeah.
An industry that is more like a lifestyle, handed down from a long line of ranchers.
I'm 5th generation. My kids are 6th. My great-great-grandfather squatted over in this at this spring, and so it was 1886 when he moved to Idaho Territory from Colorado.
For Gus Brackett and his Flat Creek Ranch hands, it's a year-round gig with little time off.
One of the unique places in America where you have summer range and winter range without putting them on a truck.
But commitment
We're stubborn.
is the reality of raising cattle.
As long as people keep eating beef, we'll keep ranching out here. So
Out here, ranching isn't the only thing that goes back to Gus's great-great-grandfather.
he was actually on the first school board in Three Creek.
And Gus has continued that tradition for the last 18. One of the reasons Three Creek School has survived nearly a century and a half.
If we want the school, we have to support it. And if you don't have the ability to have school, then you have to move to town or you have to move somewhere to get your children educated.
Because selling eggs only gets you so far, Three Creek is running a 2-year, $67,000 supplemental levy this election day. It would increase their $100,000 annual budget by about a third. The plan is to upgrade the HVAC system and pay for an additional paraprofessional.
And so it may seem silly to have 2 professionals at the school for 5 students, but they're out on an island out here.
If the input number
Gus says the levy is about safety, and he isn't concerned with convincing the area's 18 registered voters to approve the increase in property tax. Again, they're committed.
We've never had a close levy. It's every time we've put a levy, a bond, anything like that out, it usually passes unanimously.
Because out here, Gus says, you have to consider what's over the horizon, not just what's right in front of you.
At this point, it's not even for my kids, it would be for my grandkids that I don't have yet.
13.
It's a sentiment shared inside Three Creek's 3-room schoolhouse.
we do have our own little culture here, and it's important to keep our culture alive. It's important to keep these kids on the ranch and have them learn the ways of life out here. And we need to balance that with a good education.
And like anything else out here,
Yeah, absolutely.
you just have to work for it.
If it was easy, everybody'd live out here.
Unfortunately, Three Creek School only teaches through 8th grade. For high school, those kids have to transfer either to Twin Falls or to Castleford, which is a minimum 1 hour and 15-minute commute one way. We mentioned the 72 people living within the district boundaries. Only 18 are registered to vote. That'd be 11 in Owyhee County and 7 in Twin Falls County. And not all of their levies have been unanimous, as Gus said. Back in 2023, it did pass with a vote of 13-3. One other number to illustrate how small Three Creek School District is. Their budget is about $100,000 a year. Meanwhile, West Ada, the school's largest school district, and who has 2 trustees up for vote on tomorrow's ballot, they have an annual budget of nearly $731 million. All right, for some more election numbers to non, kind of like, those cocktail peanuts during this cocktail hour of the 208. When it comes to absentee ballots or doing it early in Ada County, nearly 13,000 voted early in person. A vast majority, like 70%, are over the age of 60 so far. As for Ada County, absentee, more than 18,000 ballots were issued, just shy of the 11,000 that have been returned, for a return rate of 59%. So pretty good so far in Ada County. Statewide, we're looking at about 45,000 absentee ballots were sent out this year, with a return rate of nearly 61%. The fewest, well, that would be in Clark County with 10 absentee ballots issued. Of course, that's Idaho's least populated county, so that's expected. But they did return 8 of them, so it has one of the highest return rates. Absentee and voting early, a preferred method of older Republicans in Idaho. For some comparison to the 2024 presidential election, something we touched on earlier, nearly a third of all registered voters in Idaho decided to take advantage of voting early or absentee. And for the whole election, we had a 78% turnout rate in 2024. We've used this offense reference a few times here on the 208. Snip, snap, you're familiar with it. After SNAP benefits were kind of snipped over the weekend, 2 federal judges have now forced the Trump administration to use emergency ag money to restore the food assistance program. But only about halfway, which means the 42 million Americans who rely on SNAP will only get about half of what they usually get, and only through the month of November, which means food banks are still going to have to carry a bigger burden to feed families. And while they may have food to give for now, what they're lacking most right now are volunteers to give it out. Joe Paris found out there's a local way for Idahoans to close the relief gap without having to open their wallet.
Each month, more than 130,000 Idahoans rely on SNAP benefits to provide basic food needs for their family. Tough economic times and the federal government shutdown is pushing need far beyond the norm.
We have just seen an increased need all across the board.
Bryn Booker is a Boise area specialist for Just Serve, a website, organization, and app where the volunteer needs of local organizations are posted.
The idea is it's one place to list the community's volunteer and donation needs so that those who are interested in helping out can find somewhere where they can volunteer and give back, just in a really easy, simple way.
There will always be a financial need in the nonprofit world, but money and goods are only beneficial if there are people to distribute them.
We've had more food bank posts, I think, than I've ever seen on Just Serve, and need for increased volunteers and donations because of the current situation that we're in. And so it's an awesome place for people to be able to go when maybe they feel a little bit helpless to do something right now. That they don't have to feel that way because there's opportunities for them to be able to either volunteer or donate and help.
The process on Just Serve is simple. Type in a need area or topic like food pantry, and a localized list will show you scheduled events and opportunities in your neighborhood. Sign up to connect with organizations big and small.
That's what I love about Just Serve is you can go and, maybe you're not in a position to be able to give financially in the terms of bringing donations, bringing food to an organization. But if you have an extra hour or 2 in your week and you want to make an impact, you can go to Just Serve. You can search by your interests. You can search by days of the week or times that are good for you.
The impact of SNAP payments being delayed and likely lessened can be hard to quantify for now, but leaders say they are seeing a larger volume of clients and new faces reaching out for help.
We've had more food bank posts, I think, than I've ever seen on Just Serve, and need for increased volunteers and donations because of the current situation that we're in. And so it's an awesome place for people to be able to go when maybe they feel a little bit helpless to do something right now. That they don't have to feel that way because there's opportunities for them to be able to either volunteer or donate and help.
This is a situation that gets tougher every day for families.
Salvation Army, Boise Corps, our lines are 3 times as long as they normally are for people coming to get food. And we know places like Interfaith Sanctuary, they're saying things like, we are now serving more meals than we have before for breakfast and lunch, which they weren't previously doing. And they're maxing out their neighbors' capacity even with Corpus Commons.
Bryn is a volunteer herself, and she knows there are lots of people like her in the community.
Something that I've seen from our community is, they show up. When they know that there's a need, they show up and they're willing to help. Sometimes it is just about knowing where to find those opportunities.
And they are easy to connect with. Go to justserve.org. And Brian, my conversation with Bryn, she said that, there are some people that there's a little bit of an intimidation factor for I've never done this before. I don't have a big group of people. These organizations, especially now, are happy to work with people. So for example, if there's a listing for a 2-hour slot, an organization at this point is not going to say, oh, sorry, if you can only do 2 hours, it's the only time we'd want you. They're looking for able-bodied people. They're looking for people with disabilities. They're looking for people that can just do about anything, answering phones, handing out boxes. There is a dire need in this community, and there's always attention on it during the holiday season, but it's hard to quantify the impact right now.
This highlights kind of the need right now, but as you mentioned, this is not just for this time period because this is going forward and will go into the holiday season.
And even if SNAP is restored fully, there's going to be a domino effect where families are digging out of a hole for months.
Catching up, exactly. All right.
It's not just for now.
Yep. Thanks, Joe.
We enjoyed a pretty pleasant kickoff to the work week today. Temps right now still up around 60 in Boise and Twin Falls. Still plenty of blue sky over the Magic Valley, but over McCall and Boise in particular, we are seeing those clouds starting to increase and a little bit of light rain attempting to make its way into Valley County. That might be some virga, which is precipitation that evaporates from the base of the cloud, but still I anticipate in the next several hours that Valley County, West Central Mountains, you will start seeing some rain coming in. This is the first in a series of systems that will bring us just generally a wet and unsettled week. Not a washout any day, but rounds of wet weather coming in. The first of which is tonight into tomorrow morning. We see another round on Wednesday. We see another round late Thursday into Friday. So you can see all this just stacking up off to the west. Just a reminder that this might be a good week to keep the umbrella nearby. Maybe not the best week to head to the car wash. Best chance of precipitation, the most coverage that we'll see as far as those widespread showers go in the Treasure Valley is Friday. I think this is when we'll see light rain, off and on showers. Thursday looks to be our driest day of the work week, and just some splash and dash showers Tuesday into Wednesday. So tonight, the clouds coming in will actually keep a lid on our heat loss overnight. So we'll stay in the low 50s even through 9 o'clock tonight, waking up to upper 40s in the Boise area tomorrow. Not a lot of sunshine on deck tomorrow. We will have a couple of showers around in the lower elevations, especially before sunrise. If you head out real early tomorrow, make sure you have the hooded jacket. The heavier rain and high elevation snow will favor the mountains tomorrow. So we're talking snow levels above 7,000 feet. So even McCall, Stanley, Haley will likely just see some rain favoring points to the west as well. McCall will hit 47 tomorrow afternoon. We'll be up near 60 still in the Treasure Valley, upper 50s in the Magic Valley, again with a mostly cloudy sky. Couple showers coming and going tomorrow. We see those showers lingering Wednesday evening into the early morning hours of Thursday, but Wednesday temperatures hit the low 60s. After that, a stronger front comes in overnight Thursday that brings in those widespread rain showers for Friday and cooler temperatures back into the mid 50s as we head into a drier and sunnier weekend.
Hopefully the people in 3 Creek were able to see our story we did today. We were told while we were there the internet ends at the fence line at the school, so hopefully they can catch it online. Could you give us a contact for 3 Creek, says Toby. He'd like to donate. For once, he'd like to know where his money was spent. Maybe you could just buy some eggs and get something out of the deal, because they will sell them to you, which is great. And lastly tonight, bravo for the public school and the professional staff. Build a future, invest in children and teachers. That's from Phyllis Brown. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.